Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are the newest games in the Pokémon franchise. Though they have had their fair share of issues, they improved upon several of the problems or missing elements from their 14-year-old predecessors, Diamond and Pearl. For example, the remakes run faster, possess better type diversity due to the new Pokémon available in the Underground, and have trainer customization options. My favorite improvement by far is the drastically increased trainer difficulty. Several trainers now have Pokémon with IVs and EVs, which basically just means that their stats will be higher. Some even teach their Pokémon TMs or Egg moves, which were rare occurrences in previous games. You can check out everything about these trainers in this document that I'll link below. So, with a game this difficult, what better challenge is there for me to attempt than to try to beat it without taking a single point of damage? I know that Smallant made a video on playing through another Sinnoh game without taking damage, Pokémon Platinum. However, my run is going to heavily vary from that one due to the aforementioned differences between trainers, changes to wild Pokémon, and new mechanics, such as Sturdy actually working. Now, for the rules. The first is that my Pokemon's HP must be 100% at all times. That means getting hit and regaining the lost HP through moves like Giga Drain isn't allowed. The second rule is that if I do take damage, I have to reset to the point I last saved. I can save whenever I want to though. This combination of rules saves me from spending a ridiculous amount of time on this challenge, especially since I can't speed up the game on a Nintendo Switch. I'll try my best, however, to complete this game without resetting more than 10 times, excluding the resets needed for the starter. With all that said, it's time to begin the run. I name my character Kellen and my rival Keith. These names and the nicknames of my Pokemon will be following a theme, so if you get the reference, feel free to comment below. I start my journey in Twinleaf Town, waddle my way up to another house, and run into Keith, literally. Being the great friend that he is, he peer pressures me into walking through tall grass without any Pokemon, which, as expected, ends up being a fantastic idea. And I mean that sincerely. Keith's irresponsibility netted me the best available Pokemon for this challenge, Chimchar. Though I can't run away from this battle, the opposing Starly has a move that can't damage Chimchar, Growl. Its other move is Tackle, which does deal damage, so I'm going to need it to click Growl 2 or 3 times to win, depending on Chimchar's randomized attack stat. Assuming Starly's choice of moves is completely random, I have a little under 25% chance of winning this battle, including the possibility of Chimchar landing a critical hit. However, this Starly sucks and uses Growl 3 times. That's all I need to win on this first attempt. Chimchar has a mild nature, which boosts special attack and lowers defense. HP, defense, and special defense stats don't matter if you're not taking damage anyways, so this is a fantastic nature for this run. I learn I have the power to phase through people, then head over to Sandgem Town, where I nicknamed Chimchar Barlow. Following Dawn's catching tutorial, I received 20 Pokeballs, and it's time to start leveling up Chimchar. In the original games in Platinum, the best way to do this would have been to solely battle Cricketots, which only had the moves Bide and Growl. However, Cricketots now have Pound instead of Bide, meaning they can deal immediate damage. So, is there actually a guaranteed way to level up Chimchar? The answer is no, but there's still something that's pretty close. From Generation 6 onwards, catching a wild Pokemon also awards experience, not just knocking it out. Nothing on this route is guaranteed to be caught by a Pokeball, but level 2 Starlies and Bidoops have about a 95% chance of being caught, while level 3 versions of these have about a 90% chance of being caught. Don't forget that each of these Pokemon also have a 50% chance of using Growl if they break out of the Pokeball. I catch 2 level 2 Starlies and 1 level 2 Bidoof, allowing Chimchar to get to level 6 and learn Ember. Their names are Nabiki, Partner, and Janice, respectively. Nabiki, the first Starly, has an adamant nature, which raises attack, its most important stat. For future reference, the only Starly I will be using in this run is Nabiki. The other one, Partner, is just there for emotional support. Chimchar now has a 93.75% chance of one-hit KOing level 3 Cricketots with Ember. Once it hits level 7 though, this becomes a 100% chance, meaning I'm temporarily free from the shackles of being forced to choose non-guaranteed options. The first trainer on Route 202 has a Starly with Quick Attack, a priority move, so I'm gonna have to level up Chimchar until it evolves and learns Mach Punch, another priority move. Priority moves work exactly how they sound, they go before regular moves. So Quick Attack would move before Tackle, regardless of the speed stats. Grinding is really painful in this game since wild Pokemon award less and less EXP the higher the level difference between it and your Pokemon is. Other games have ways to combat this. After about 5 hours, Chimchar hits level 14, evolves into Monferno, and learns Mach Punch. I battle the first trainer, youngster Tristan, and knock out a Starly with Monferno's Mach Punch. No one else on the route is threatening, so I arrive at Jubilife City soon after. I play hide and seek with some clowns to obtain the Poketch, and start training up Starly in preparation for the upcoming rival battle. Route 204 is the best place to train, though I can't battle Shinx or Starlies above level 4. Eventually, my Starly hits level 14 and evolves into Staravia. Once it hits level 15, it's strong enough to take on Keith. His first Pokemon is Starly, which gets knocked out by Quick Attack. Next up is Piplup, which gets knocked out by Wing Attack. After clearing out the rest of Route 103, I enter Oreburgh Gate, and shortly after, reach Oreburgh City. A youngster warns that I will be looked down upon as a noob. There are a couple useful buildings present in this city. The first is the rightmost building, in which I can receive a Great Ball. The second is the leftmost building, in which I can receive a Dusk Ball. Once I have these two items, I go back to Jubilife City and up to Route 204, where I find a Zubat. I throw a Great Ball at it, which is guaranteed to catch it, and then name it Altru. While I don't need it for now, it doesn't hurt to get a few levels on it beforehand because of the automatic EXP share. There is one Pokemon I do need to train up though, Bidoof. So I train it up until level 15, where it evolves and learns Water Gun, an important move for Rourke's gym. I retrieve Rourke from the Orberg mines and then battle the trainers in the mines and the gym. Surprisingly, none of their combined 6 Pokemon with the chance to have the ability Sturdy actually have it. Sturdy is an ability that prevents a Pokemon from being KO'd in one hit, which is exactly what I'm trying to do. Anyways, those Pokemon not having Sturdy means Bibarel can just KO all of them with Water Gun. After a little bit more grinding, I'm ready to battle Rourke. Remember how I said that none of the other trainer Pokemon had Sturdy? Well, that's not the case for Rourke. While his Geodude's ability is Rockhead, Onix's is Sturdy, which means that it will always survive a hit and get a move off of its own. Believe it or not, there's not a single guaranteed way to get around this. I can level up Machop from Route 207 to level 32, where it learns Jewel Chop. However, this is a 90% accurate move, and it would take forever to level up a Pokemon to 32 this early in the game. Here's my plan. I watched portions of several walkthroughs of this game on YouTube, including ones from Munching Orange, PD Winall, PokeMMD, and Sirloin. In all of those runs, they used Pokemon to KO Geodude in one hit. However, the Onix that came out afterwards pressed Stealth Rock every single time. This leads me to believe that Onix will always use Stealth Rock if it can't hit the player's Pokemon super effectively, assuming no Stealth Rocks were set up by Geodude. As you will see later in the run, the AI is extremely weird in this game, so this may have not been a safe assumption. Rourke's first Pokemon is a Rockhead Geodude, and mine is Bibarel. Bibarel KOs it with a Water Gun. Next up is Onix, to which I send out Monferno. Power Up Punch deals about 70% to Onix, which uses Stealth Rock as expected. Monferno knocks it out with another Power Up Punch. A +2 attack Mach Punch knocks out Rourke's last Pokemon, Cranidos, and I get my first badge of the game 5 hours and 6 minutes in. The next step in the run is to prepare for a double battle in Jubilife City against 2 Team Galactic Grunts. Unfortunately, I'm forced to team up with Dawn, meaning to maximize my chances of not taking damage, I need to be able to KO both opposing Pokemon on the same turn with just my one Pokemon. Very few attacks that can do this, also known as spread attacks, are available this early in the game. One of them is Air Cutter, which Zubat learns at level 25, which is only 95% accurate on each Pokemon. Yet again, it's time to do a ton of grinding. As you can see, Zubat does not have a move strong enough to KO any Pokemon on Route 203 and doesn't get any for a long time, meaning it has to sit at the back of the party, passively gaining only half the potential experience it could get from being used in battle. Fortunately for me, there's a new area that has opened up, the lower floor of the Orberg Gate. Level 8 through 10 Zubats and Psyducks reside here, which is much better than any other area. Once Zubat hits level 20, it learns Quick Guard, which blocks priority moves for the turn it is used. I stop Zubat from evolving until level 25, where it learns Air Cutter and then evolves into Golbat. That entire process took 10 hours. Back at Jubilife City, I battled the Galactic Duo. Air Cutter KOs both Pokemon. With that over, I run through Ravage Path, reaching North Route 204, where Aroma Lady Taylor resides. For the record, in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, her name was just the common spelling of Taylor, so I have absolutely no idea what happened here. There's a double battle coming up against a pair of twins who each have a Pachirisu with Quick Attack. Although Monferno and Staravia shouldn't have a problem due to possessing priority moves of their own, I decide not to risk it and box 4 of my 5 Pokemon to avoid the double battle entirely. After picking up the TM for Bullet Seed, I reach Floaroma Town. There are 2 really concerning battles coming up. The first is against the grunt blocking the Valley Windworks building, and the second is against the commander inside the building, Mars. The grunt has a Glameow with Fake Out, while Mars has a Purugly with Fake Out. Fake Out is a priority move that only works on the first turn. It even goes before moves like Mach Punch and Quick Attack. While I do have the tools to deal with Fake Out specifically, I also don't know if the trainer's AIs will force them to use it on the first turn or not. It's likely that the grunt's first move will be randomized, while Mars's will be Fake Out due to having a higher trainer class. There's actually one really awesome Honey Tree Pokemon that can bypass all of these problems, Burmy, specifically when it evolves into Mothim. It's the only Pokemon available this early in the game that learns Protect by level up. The only problem is that it has an 11% chance to be encountered on Honey Trees, and those encounters only reset every 24 hours at minimum. With only 2 Honey Trees available, it would likely be a 3 to 7 day hunt to find Burmy. I can't manually change the time of the switch to make this faster, because for some reason, this game locks you out of time-based events for 24 hours if you do that. I really didn't want to wait that long, so I just went into the battle, leading Golbat. By watching playthroughs, I learned that the Grunt's choice of moves was indeed randomized, so I just used Quick Guard, which can block Fake Out if used. If Glameow uses Growl instead, that's also fine, I can just KO it the next turn. However, it chooses the one move I can't deal with, Scratch. I only had a 1/3 chance to lose that, but given all the chances that I've taken in the run and gotten out of unscathed, this was bound to happen. Before attempting it again, I head back to Floroma Town. Inside one of the houses, a girl gives me the TM for Pluck, a good move for Golbat to learn since it can't miss, unlike Air Cutter. Now for attempt 2. Golbat uses Quick Guard and Glameow uses Fake Out, which does nothing. Golbat wins with Pluck the next turn. I'm gonna need Golbat to be strong enough to one-hit KO Mars's Purugly, so I head back outside to level it up. Due to all of the friendship gained from walking around grinding it up the first time around, Golbat is friendly enough to evolve into Crobat at level 26. Upon evolution, it learns Cross Poison, a 70 base power physical poison type move. At level 27, Crobat is strong enough to battle Mars. Pluck KOs her Zubat, and now it's time for the problem Pokemon. The 4 playthroughs I mentioned earlier all showed Purugly using Fake Out on the first turn, so I think it's a safe bet for Purugly to use it. Sure enough, Quick Guard blocks Purugly's Fake Out. The next turn, Cross Poison knocks it out. I speed through Route 205, making sure to avoid one trainer who has a sturdy Onix and reach the next obstacle of the run, Eterna Forest. I switch Staravia to the front of the party and then enter. There's actually only one mandatory double battle inside Eterna Forest, but unfortunately, just like how I teamed up with Dawn back in Jubilee City, I have to team up with Cheryl here. In the first battle, a Bugcatcher has 3 Pokemon, starting with Wurmple, while Alas only has Pachirisu. I have to take a chance that Wurmple won't attack my Staravia. Staravia's attack is actually higher than Monferno's, which is why it's in battle instead. Quick Attack KOs Pachirisu, and then Chansey confuses Wurmple with Sweet Kiss. But Wurmple breaks out and uses Poison Sting against Staravia. Annoying sequence of events, but it goes my way the next time around. I switch Crobat to the front of the party before the next battle, but I make a mistake of entering a double battle when I could have just split it into 2 single battles without Cheryl. Hopefully, this doesn't bite me in the back. Of course, Air Cutter misses one of the 2 Abra. That Abra targets Chansey though, to my relief. There aren't any mandatory trainers left, so I exit the forest, run through North Route 205, and arrive at Eterna City. By far the messiest portion of the run is finally over. At this point, Crobat is strong enough to KO the entirety of the Eterna gym. Gardenia is no exception. Cherubi and Turtwig both faint to Cross Poison, and then Roserade gets KO'd by Pluck. Gardenia rewards me with several TMs of Grass Knot. The heavier the target is, the more damage Grass Knot deals. With the gym completed, I gain access to the underground, a great help to this run for 2 reasons. The first is that it increases the variety of Pokemon I can capture, and the second is that the high levels of Pokemon there make grinding a lot quicker than before. The downside of these higher levels is that there are much fewer Pokemon that can actually be knocked out in one hit. Anyways, my team is nowhere near strong enough to take on Commander Jupiter and her Skuntank in the upcoming Team Galactic building, so I start to train underground, intending to evolve Monferno into Infernape where it learns Close Combat. I take a break from that process to head over to the old chateau north of Eterna Forest, where I find a Ghastly. I throw a Dusk Ball, and it breaks out? Apparently, creepy haunted houses don't boost the catch rate of a Dusk Ball. Fortunately for me, Ghastly has a 75% chance to not do any damage, so I get lucky as it uses Hypnosis. The next turn, I throw a Great Ball with a 70% chance to catch, and succeed. A better solution would have been to complete several tasks for the underground guy until you get 5 Quick Balls, which would have caught Ghastly 100% of the time. I name it Kincaid, and it's back to grinding. Around midway through Monferno being level 33, I realize that Skuntank has the ability Aftermath, which deals damage to any Pokemon that KOs it with a contact move. This means my original plan of Close Combat is not a viable option. I decide to just continue, since getting an Infernape this early will at least make future battles and grinding a lot easier. After eliminating a population of Kricketots and Badoos, Monferno forgets Power Up Punch to learn Close Combat, and evolves. Ghastly also evolved into Hunter along the way. With that over, I plan out a new strategy for battling Skuntank. My first thought is to find a Pokemon that can knock it out with a super effective special move, since almost no special moves actually make contact. One Pokemon that can do this is Gastrodon with Earth Power. I take a pretty big detour to Oreburgh City and buy a few Net Balls, which increase the chances of capturing a Water or Bug type by 3.5 times. On Route 205, I find a Shellos, use one of the Net Balls, and name it Boyle. For the record, while there are Shellos underground, they are too high of a level to be guaranteed captures. It's time for grinding again, but this time it'll be easier. I teach Infernape Grass Knot using one of the TMs I got from Gardenia. Because of how strong Infernape is now, it can even KO the Gastrodons in Fountain Spring Cave, which are EXP gold mines. I mean, look at that, that's about a quarter of a level for most of my Pokemon. Staravia evolves into Staraptor and learns Close Combat at level 34, while Shellos learns Earth Power and evolves into Gastrodon at level 35. After one more level, Gastrodon is fast enough to outspeed Skuntank, so I'm ready to battle Jupiter. Infernape's Flame Wheel KOs Zubat, and then Gastrodon outspeeds and KOs Skuntank with Earth Power. I grab the bike, ride down Cycling Road, receive the VS Seeker from Dawn, and then enter Mount Coronet for the first time, where I meet Cyrus. There's no character in the franchise that encompasses the word tired more than this guy. Maybe Caitlyn from Black and White. I don't know. Hardome City and the second battle with Keith are next. Mach Punch KOs Starly, Close Combat KOs Primplup, Mach Punch KOs Ponyta, and Flame Wheel KOs Roselia. Here's an interesting fact. If your rival chooses Piplup, Roselia has the ability Natural Cure, but if he chooses Chimchar, it has Poison Point. Next stop is Veilstone City, and I have two ways of getting there. The first is by going east of Hardome through Route 209, Solaceon Town, and Route 215, while the second is by going south of Hearthome through Route 212, Pastoria City, Route 213, and Route 214. I originally started by going east because from what I remembered of the original games, the bog was not fun. On Route 215, I find a Fist Plate, which makes fighting type moves stronger by 20%, and give it to Infernape. While there though, I realize none of my Pokemon are strong enough to defeat the final mandatory trainer's Gyarados. Rather than trying to train up a whole other electric-type Pokemon, I decided to just go with the other route. The bog sure was annoying, but I arrived at Pastoria relatively quickly. The Great Marsh is a pretty awesome location for catching Pokemon, since neither party ever takes damage. You can just chuck balls to your heart's content. I don't need any Pokemon from here though, so I grab the teams for Defog and leave. I buy a bunch of Quick Balls from the mart, then head out. After going through a couple more routes, I finally reach Veilstone City. The first thing I do is visit the department store where I can buy a bunch of powerful TMs at a bargain. I get TMs of U-Turn, Protect, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Psychic, and Dazzling Gleam. Infernape forgets Flame Wheel in favor of Flamethrower, while Haunter forgets Shadow Punch in favor of Thunderbolt. In front of the Veilstone Gym, there's a trainer who gives me a Wide Lens which boosts the accuracy of all moves by 10% and will be useful very shortly. The entire gym can be defeated with just 2 total moves. One of them is Haunter's Hex to take out a Black Belt's Hematite possessing Feint, a normal type move that has higher priority than Quick Attack but lower priority than Fake Out. The other move is Infernape's Flamethrower. Mainline is no exception to this, as Flamethrower KOs are Hematite, Machoke, and Lucario. I'm about to have another team battle with Dawn and a couple of Team Galactic grunts, but I don't want to have to rely on Crobat's 95% accurate Air Cutter, so I give it the recently obtained Wide Lens, making Air Cutter 100% accurate. The first Air Cutter KOs the grunts Dustox and Beautifly, while the second KOs Krogunk and Stunky. I grab the TM for Fly from the Galactic Warehouse and immediately realize there's a silver lining to all the missteps I took on the way to Veilstone City. I can just fly to Pastoria City instead of having to run through a bunch of routes and trainer battles, since I've already done that. I clear out the gym pretty easily, but don't have the tools to beat Crash or Wake yet. I fly back to Veilstone and pick up a hidden Silk Scarf near the Galactic headquarters. The Silk Scarf boosts the power of normal type moves by 20%. I give Staraptor the Silk Scarf, switch Haunter to the front of the party, and challenge Wake. Gyarados is his first Pokemon, but Haunter's Thunderbolt easily KOs it. His next Pokemon is Quagsire, so I switch to Infernape. Grassnot takes it out. Floatzel is last, so I send out Staraptor. This Pokemon is the reason I needed the Silk Scarf because it has Aqua Jet, a priority move. Infernape isn't strong enough to KO it with Mach Punch, even with a Fist Plate. However, because of the Silk Scarf, Staraptor is. Quick Attack knocks out Floatzel, and that's 4 gym leaders down. I eavesdrop on this Galactic Grunt who's planning to deliver a bomb to Lake Valor and have to chase him down. And then Keith interrupts me. I am literally trying to stop a guy from delivering a bomb, but rival battles come first, I guess. He still hasn't evolved his level 26 Starly for some reason. It goes down to Mach Punch, Primplup feints to close combat, Ponyta gets knocked out by Mach Punch, and Roselia gets obliterated by Flamethrower. I successfully catch up to the grunt at the Valor Lakefront and defeat him, which effectively does nothing but postpone the detonation. Cynthia assigns a mission to deliver an old charm to her grandmother in Celestic Town. On the way there, I find the TM for Shadow Ball. I can teach it to Haunter, but it learns Shadow Ball by level up pretty soon anyways. When I reach Celestic Town, I hand over the old charm. There's another Team Galactic grunt, my bad. There's a spaceman in front of the Celestic Ruins who has 2 Pokemon. Infernape's Flamethrower knocks out his first Pokemon, Beautifly, but I need to send out Staraptor for his second, Krogunk. Krogunk has Sucker Punch, a priority move that works if the opposing Pokemon is about to use an attacking move. It's in the same priority bracket as Quick Attack though, meaning as long as Staraptor is faster, I'm gonna move first. Quick Attack picks up the KO. Cynthia's grandma gives several TMs for Surf, and I proceed to get jump scared by Cyrus, who smiles for the first time all game, but only when introducing himself. Imagine being like,
I hate the world. This world is disgusting. I must create a new one.
Yo, whoa, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Cyrus.
Anyways, completing this mission unlocks a 5th gym back in Hearthome. I don't need to do a lot of preparation though. I give Infernape a charcoal I found underground, teach Staraptor Fly, and switch Crobat's Wide Lens to Staraptor. Time to battle Fantina. Her first Pokemon, Drifblim, gets KO'd by Flamethrower. Her next Pokemon is Gengar, which has the ability Curse Body. This means it has a 30% chance to disable any move that it gets hit by. I keep Infernape in and go for the knockout with another Flamethrower, which of course gets disabled. Her final Pokemon is Miss Magius. Because her Pokemon have speed EVs, Miss Magius actually outspeeds every one of my Pokemon except for Infernape and Staraptor. Given that Infernape can't use its only move that can knock it out, I have to switch into Staraptor. Fly is only 95% accurate, but that chance becomes 100% with the wide lens. Once it lands, I win the battle. Route 218 connects Jubilife City to my next destination, Canalave City. I haven't caught a Pokemon in a while, and I'm gonna need a few new ones to take on the Canalave Gym. 2 of them are on this route. The first is a Wingull, which I catch and name Puel. I'll get the second one in a bit, but for now I enter Canalave City to battle Keith. Haunter's Thunderbolt KO Staravia. I blundered here since Staravia was actually holding a Quick Claw, which allows it to move first in its priority bracket 20% of the time. This means I should have had Staraptor use Quick Attack instead. I switch Infernape in to deal with his next Pokemon, Heracross. Flamethrower knocks it out. Close Combat KOs Prinplup and Ponyta, and then Flamethrower takes out Roselia to win the battle. I accidentally let Wingull evolve into Pelipper after this battle, meaning I need to catch another one. I'll explain why this evolution was bad during the next gym battle. I leave Canalave to catch a second Route 218 Pokemon, Glameow, which I name Vienne. Believe it or not a single Pokemon available during the main story of this game gets fake out by level up other than Glameow or Purugly. Anyways, there's only one Pokemon left to capture before I can take on the gym. The 2 main problematic members in the gym are Black Belt Ricky and the leader himself, Byron. Ricky has a sturdy Steelix with 4 attacking moves, while Byron has both a sturdy Steelix and a sturdy Bastiodon. While I currently have the tools for dealing with both Steelix, I can't beat Bastiodon yet. The primary reason this challenge is easier with Brilliant Diamond than with Shining Pearl is because of the existence of one version exclusive Pokemon, Rampardos. Rampardos has the ability Mold Breaker, which ignores opposing abilities, like Sturdy. This means it can potentially KO a Pokemon with that ability in one hit. Rampardos also has an insanely high attack stat, along with relatively good coverage moves. It's a bit annoying to find due to the random chance of fossils appearing underground, but you don't have to risk taking damage when obtaining it. Fortunately for me, Ilka was kind enough to add a version-exclusive Mold Breaker Mon to Shining Pearl as well, Pinsir. Yes, it's weaker than Rampardos, has worse coverage, and is riskier to catch, but it is faster. So I head underground and repeatedly enter and exit Spacious Cave until I find one. Before throwing a Quick Ball, I find out that there's only about a 40% to catch it, so I run and try to think of a better solution. I was extremely disorganized for this next part of the run, so sit tight. I fly to Ravage Path back near Floroma Town to get a Luck Incense. This doubles the amount of money trainers give you for winning, assuming the Pokemon you gave it to appears in battle. I give this item to Infernape and repeatedly battle a group of 4 rich trainers on Route 212 below Hearthome City. Once I have a good pile of cash, I purchase 10 Calciums from the Veilstone department store and 4-speed them to Glameow, giving it 100 special attack EVs. Back underground, I catch a Teddiursa and name it Murph. This is the Pokemon that will hopefully beat Bastiodon. In Pastoria City, I pick up a Mystic Water. After beating up the rich trainers again and maxing out Glameow's special attack, I go underground to train both Glameow and Teddiursa. Once both Pokemon are evolved and sufficiently leveled, I pick up the TM for Water Pulse and Ravaged Path, and the TM for Brick Break in the lower level of Oreburg Gate. On routes 212 and 214, I find 2 Hard Scales, which I then give to the move relearner back in Pastoria. Ursaring relearns Fling, and Purugly relearns Fake Out. I think you can guess what I'm planning. Fling is a move that lets a Pokemon toss its held item at a target to deal damage. Depending on the held item, there may also be secondary effects. Flinking either the King's Rock or the Razor Fang causes the opposing Pokemon to flinch, just like Fake Out. I intend for Ursaring to flinch Byron's Bastiodon with Fling, breaking Sturdy, and then to finish it with Brick Break. Now, all that's left to do is to find the King's Rock, which should be found in Celestic Town right over here. Over here. Maybe here? Turns out this was only in Platinum. In Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, both of the aforementioned items cannot be obtained until the post-game, meaning my plans have fallen through. Fling is useless. Ursaring is useless. Most of the previous 4 hours were useless. With my hopes dashed and brain running on fumes, I catch another Wingull like I said I would before and go back to my original plan of using a Mold Breaker Pinsir to ignore Bastiodon's Sturdy. I re-encounter one relatively quickly, with Haunter at the front of my party. Pinsir has only around a 25% chance to damage Haunter if it breaks out, since 3 of the 4 level up moves that it's expected to have do not affect Haunter. If the 40% chance Quick Ball fails, I have numerous Nutballs that each have a 30% chance to capture Pinsir. All in all, this means I have just about a 2/3 chance to catch it before it deals damage. My luck is still awesome, so I catch it on the first turn with a Quick Ball. I name it Peril. Invoking the power of Jeffrey Bezos, I purchased several proteins to buff up Pinsir. After what feels like an eternity, I'm about to start progressing through the game again. I give Perugly the Mystic Water, teach it Water Pulse, and switch it to the front of the party. Black Belt Ricky is the first trainer inside Canalave Gym and has a sturdy Steelix. Perugly has been training its entire life for this battle. Fake Out breaks sturdy, and then Perugly lands a headshot with Water Pulse to win the battle. Before the gym leader, I add Gastrodon and Wingull to the team, subbing out Perugly and Haunter. I teach U-turn to Wingull and Brick Break to Pinsir. I briefly go underground to level up Pinsir to 41 and use one of my rare candies to get it to level 42. It's time to take on Byron. He sends out a Bronzor while I send out Infernape. Its ability is Levitate and not Heatproof, so Flamethrower knocks it out. His next Pokemon is Steelix, to which I send out Wingull. So, I should probably tell you why I didn't evolve it. Steelix has the moves Thunderfang, Earthquake, Gyro Ball, and Sandstorm. My plan is to have Wingull U-turn and switch into Gastrodon, breaking sturdy in the process. I wanted a way to guarantee that Steelix would use Thunderfang instead of the other 3 moves. While a level 30 Pelipper has a shot to lift Thunderfang, Wingull absolutely does not. This is why I didn't want it to evolve. Wingull uses U-turn, I switch into Gastrodon, and Steelix uses Thunderfang. Plan successful. Earth Power finishes Steelix off. Byron's last Pokemon is the dreaded Bastrodon, so I send out Pinsir. I'm just one Brick Break away from this whole saga being over. Pinsir uses Brick Break, and to my dismay, it doesn't do enough. Bastrodon uses Stone Edge, which hits, forcing me to reset. I forgot to give Pinsir a Fist Plate, which I did when running the damage calculation. To think I went through all that trouble just to have to reset anyways. Brick Break KOs Bastrodon. The Mine Badge is... mine. Immediately after Professor Rowan assigns each of Keith, Dawn, and I a lake to investigate, an explosion occurs in my assignment, Lake Valor. I'm honestly pretty surprised that they kept this in the game, but the game corner is a no-no. The Galactic Commander responsible for this explosion is Saturn. His Pokemon are Kadabra, Bronzor, and Toxicroak, which doesn't have Sucker Punch for some reason. Not one of them can take a Flamethrower. Because Dawn and Rowan can't do their own jobs, I'm forced to go to Lake Verity. Mars is even easier than last time since her Perugly doesn't have Fake Out anymore. Flamethrower does enough to Golbat, Close Combat takes out Perugly, and a misclick Close Combat KOs Bronzor to win the battle. Snowpoint City is the next destination, and unfortunately for me, I need to go through 2 routes of hail to get there. Not to mention multiple trainers in the gym with Snover or Abomasnow, which have Snow Warning, an ability that sets hail. I set out to fix this problem immediately after exiting Mount Coronet to enter Route 216. Underground, I find a female Snorunt and name it Palmer. I realize that this Pokemon won't be enough to deal with all the 7th Gym Leader's Pokemon, so I head back to the lower level of Oreburgh Gate and surf for a bit. I eventually find a Psyduck with the ability Cloud9, catch it, and name it Brook. Cloud9 is an ability that ignores the effects of weather, meaning it won't take damage from hail or sandstorm. I found a Dawnstone underground a little earlier, so I use it to evolve Snorunt into Frostlass. Unlike most stone evolutions, Frostlass has a great level up learn set, so there's not really a point to holding off and evolving. After leveling both Pokemon up, EV training them in special attack and speed, and revamping their movesets, I can trek through the snow routes. In the middle of Route 217, I pick up the TM for Rock Climb and show it to a hiker in a nearby house to receive the Icicle Plate. I then reach Snowpoint City and enter the gym after giving Infernape the Fist Plate and switching it to the front of my party. I can actually lead it into all 6 regular trainer battles, which is pretty nice. The only trainers here with Snover have only 1 Pokemon each, meaning Infernape won't be buffeted by hail as long as it wins in 1 turn. One specific trainer in here poses a problem though, Ace Trainer Savannah. She has a Pelipper, Golduck, and sturdy Steelix, but I have the tools to deal with this. Just not all in my party. Infernape KOs Pelipper with Close Combat, and then gets hit by Aqua Jet before it can attack Golduck. I actually made not 1, but 2 mistakes here. First, of course, I didn't read Golduck's moveset correctly. I would have used Mach Punch instead, which is a guaranteed KO. Second, I forgot to take Perugly out of the box to deal with Steelix, just like how it did in Byron's gym. Round 2. Infernape KOs Pelipper with Close Combat and Golduck with Mach Punch, then Perugly breaks Steelix's Sturdy with Fake Out and knocks it out with a rain-boosted Water Pulse. Thanks, Pelipper. I switch Frostlass to the front of the party before fighting Candace. Frostlass is holding the Icicle Plate, and Golduck is holding the Mystic Water. It's worth noting that none of Candace's Pokemon have any priority moves. Her first Pokemon is Snover, but the hail it sets serves as its demise since it makes Frostlass's Blizzard 100% accurate. Medicham is next, but it's no match for a Shadow Ball. Third is Sneasel, which Frostlass can't touch, so I send out Golduck. The speed it gained from ingesting so many vitamins allows it to outspeed Sneasel, which gets KO'd by Surf. Last is Abomasnow, to which I send out Infernape. Flamethrower wins the battle. If Abomasnow had been sent out any earlier, I would have used Frostlass instead, since I made sure its special attack was high enough to pick up the KO with a Blizzard. I head to Lake Acuity where Jupiter is giving Keith a reality check, then fly to Veilstone to face off against Team Galactic. And their leader, Boss. Cyrus's Murkrow and Golbat each go down to charcoal boosted flamethrowers, while Sneasel gets KO'd by Mach Punch. Next up is a second battle with Commander Saturn, but it goes exactly like the first battle, with all 3 of his Pokemon getting KO'd by Flamethrower. The next morning, I fly to Celestic Town and talk to the Glasses guy to get the choice specs. I would have done this earlier, but you have to wake up before 10 AM and remember to play the game. As you may have noticed, most of this run takes place during the nighttime. On the lowest floor of the Jubilife condominiums, I receive a Quick Claw. Before my final showdown against Team Galactic, I need to level up Golduck a bit underground. When it's holding the Lucky Egg and at the front of the party, it actually gains EXP at a ridiculous rate in comparison to the rest of the team. Once it hits level 67, I can move on to Mount Coronet. After brushing aside about 12 weenies, I get to Spear Pillar where there are 2 more weenies. There's a double battle coming up against Mars and Jupiter. That's fine by itself, but what makes it a problem is that I have to team up with Keith. That means I need a move that can hit both opposing targets on the field. Fortunately, Golduck knows Surf, which attacks all 3 Pokemon on the field. To power Golduck up, I give it the choice specs, which boosts its damage output by 1.5 times at the cost of only allowing it to choose 1 move. It doesn't matter since that move is Surf. I also give the Quick Claw to Frostlass, though that's only relevant in the battle after. Cyrus summons Palkia, which uses the sky as a coloring book, and then I start the double battle. Mars and Jupiter each send out Bronzor, while Keith sends out a Munchlax. Surf knocks out both Bronzors, Skuntank and Purugly, and both Golbats to win. Including Keith's Munchlax and Staraptor, that's 8 KOs in just 3 turns. The Lake Trio saves the world, Cyrus gets mad, well, he's always mad, and he takes out his anger on me. There's no time to edit the team in between this battle and the previous one, so I'm forced to lead Golduck. Cyrus sends out Honchkrow. Ice Beam knocks it out. Next up is Gyarados, which is holding a Walk-On Berry, an item that halves the damage of a super effective electric type attack. That doesn't save it from my mild-natured Haunter, which KOs it with Thunderbolt through the berry. Third is Weavile, which gets knocked out by Infernape's Mach Punch. I had planned to use Flamethrower against Weavile when preparing for Cyrus, but my instinct ended up acting before my brain could during the battle. Cyrus's final Pokemon is Crobat. Crobat is holding a Quick Claw. This makes no sense since Crobat literally has the highest base speed out of any Pokemon available during the main story. Why does it need an item that lets it move first 20% of the time when it's already moving first during 99% of people's playthroughs? Either way, this set is disadvantageous to this specific challenge. I don't have any Pokemon with a priority move strong enough, and would have had to level up Staraptor an obscene amount to get Quick Attack to pick up the KO. If you remember, I gave Frostlass a Quick Claw before the double battle. This way, if both Pokemon's Quick Claws activate at the same time, Frostlass will win. Including the chance for Crobat to use Tailwind, this increases my chances of winning from around 90% to a whopping 92%. No Quick Claws end up activating, so Frostlass uses Ice Beam to send Cyrus back to Legoland. Believe it or not, Cyrus is only 27 years old. Pretty impressive? I catch Palkia with a Master Ball and name it Henry. Professor Rowan has an anime protagonist moment. I don't have to fight any more blue-haired bozos for the rest of the game, so I can finally try to get the 8th gym badge. I head west of Valor Lakefront onto Route 222, where I only battle a single trainer before reaching Sunnyshore's City. I can take on the gym basically right away. Before fighting the leader, I switch Frostlass to the front of the party and give it the choice specs. If you're wondering why Purugly is paralyzed, Static activated as a KO to Raichu earlier. Speaking of Raichu, that's Volkner's first Pokemon. Ice Beam knocks it out. Volkner then sends out an Ambipom with Fake Out, but that doesn't matter to a ghost type like Frostlass. Ice Beam picks up another KO. Third is Octillery, but it gets knocked out by a close combat from Infernape. Volkner's ace is Luxray, but it becomes the third victim of Ice Beam in this battle. Jasmine is still in this game, so maybe that's a hint for Let's Go Johto games? Might be a stretch. Anyways, I surf on Route 223 until I reach the Victory Road entrance. The final 5 battles of the game are against the Elite Four and the Champion. These battles are a new level of difficult in comparison to any of the previous ones. All their Pokemon have maxed out IVs and close to maxed out EVs in targeted stats. Considering that I can't even control my Pokemon's IVs and most of them haven't had to do any targeted EV training, I'll need to grind a lot. In fact, more than ever before. It's here I decide to do something that might be kinda controversial. Since all my Pokemon have maxed out EVs, battling affects experience but doesn't award any EVs like it usually would, which means that it's not really any different from using a bunch of rare candies. In versions of the game before 1.1.3, which in my case is 1.1.2, there is something called the menu glitch, which allows you to access the menu while still moving. This glitch lets you do a lot of things, including cloning Pokemon and the items that they're holding. This video made by Blaines should cover what I did. Once I have a ton of rare candies, I level up all my Pokemon to around 75 for now, and then take on Victory Road. On the way, I teach Haunter Sludge Bomb. It looks like the cloning glitch made the HM Bibarels dysfunctional. Around 20 minutes later, I reach the Pokemon League. Prior to challenging the Elite Four, I'm gonna need to battle my rival one last time. Before battling Keith, I fly to Veilstone and buy several more U-turn TMs. Once I've leveled up Infernape and Frostlass the necessary amount, I use one of them on Purugly. Lastly, I pick up the TM for Giga Drain lying at the bottom of Route 209. I switch Purugly to the front of my party, and I'm ready to battle. Keith's first Pokemon is a Staraptor holding a Focus Sash. To break it, I have Purugly use Fake Out. Because of a critical hit, it deals about 60%. I expect Staraptor to use either Close Combat or Rain Dance, since Close Combat is a super effective move and Rain Dance is a status move. Purugly U-turns out into Frostlass, which takes nothing from Close Combat. Body Slam or Water Pulse were probably safer moves there, given the damage from the crit. Next is Roserade, which falls to a Flamethrower from Infernape. Third is Snorlax, so I keep Infernape in. Close Combat takes it out. Next up is Empoleon. The reason I needed Infernape to be such a high level was because of Empoleon's held item, a Quick Claw. The Quick Claw activates, but Infernape still goes first and knocks out Empoleon with a priority Fist Plate boosted Mach Punch. It makes quick work of Keith's last two mons as well, KOing Rapidash with Close Combat and Heracross with Flamethrower. Before challenging the Elite Four, I switch Infernape to the front of the party, and give it the choice specs. The first Elite Four member is Aaron, who only has bug types, except for his ace, Drapion. Either way, he's the easiest Elite Four member to defeat, as is Dustox, Heracross, Beautifly, Vespiquen, and Drapion all fall to one choice specs boosted Flamethrower each. The next member is Bertha, but she's not much of a step up from Aaron. I give Infernape the Fist Plate and Golduck the choice specs. Golduck isn't necessary unless she sends out her Sandstorm setting Hippowdon early, though in all the playthroughs I've watched, I never saw it come out any earlier than last. She starts the battle off with Quagsire, while I lead Infernape again. One Grass Knot knocks it out. Next up is Whiscash, which is holding a Rindo Berry, an item that halves the damage of a Grass-type move. Even though Grass Knot is 4 times super effective, Whiscash is deceptively light, and small. Did you know that this mod is not even 3 feet long? Anyways, its low weight makes Grass Knot a 40 base power move. That's not gonna cut it. One Fist Plate boosted Close Combat will though. Bertha's third Pokemon is Golem, with the ability Sturdy. I send Purugly out in response. Fake Out breaks Sturdy, and then Bertha switches out into Sudowoodo, which feints to a Water Pulse, without a critical hit? I have so many questions. What likely happened is that Bertha noticed one of her Pokemon could hit Purugly super effectively, so she switched it in. The move being Low Kick. She sends Golem back in, but it goes down to Water Pulse. Last is Hippowdon, so I send out Golduck. Surf wins the battle. Flint is significantly tougher than the previous two Elite Four members. Before fighting him, I use a TM for Psychic on Frostlass, having it forget Blizzard. I also move the choice specs from Golduck to Frostlass. Flint's first Pokemon is Rapidash, and I lead Infernape. Close Combat knocks out Rapidash. Next up is Lopunny. Lopunny has the move Quick Attack, which is its strongest stab move, so I don't want to risk keeping in Infernape. I also unfortunately did not level up Haunter or Frostlass enough to guarantee a KO in one hit. Instead, I send out Purugly, because Lopunny has a super effective move against it, High Jump Kick. This should allow me to beta into using High Jump Kick on Haunter, an immune ghost type, which would cause it to lose 50% of its total HP. Since Lopunny can also use Mirror Coat, I need to deal some amount of chip to it before switching to Haunter. I can't use Fake Out because of the 30% chance for Lopunny's Q-Charm ability to activate. Q-Charm is effectively an ability version of Attract, inflicting Infatuation. This status effect has a 50% chance of preventing a Pokemon from moving. All this means is that my only option is U-Turn. Purugly U-turns out, Q-Charm activates in vain, I switch to Haunter, and Lopunny uses Fire Punch. What? No way. It chose to use Fire Punch instead of High Jump Kick against a Purugly with the ability Thick Fat, which halves the power of Fire and Ice-type moves. Unbelievable. My theory for why this happened is that the way the AI reads Thick Fat is fundamentally incorrect. I actually have a way of testing this, so I just attempt it again. If I need to reset this time, it's in the name of science. The Aaron battle goes the exact same way as before, but the Bertha one does not. She doesn't switch out Golem this time, so it just feints to Water Pulse the turn after being faked out. I send in Infernape to face Sudowoodo, and Grass Knot KOs it. Back to Flint. I make one change, giving the choice specs to Frostlass instead of Haunter. I keep Infernape in against Lopunny this time around. I don't think I've ever seen the Pokemon of a high AI trainer attack with a weak priority move unless it's attacking a Pokemon with low HP or the move is super effective. Given that neither is the case here, I think it's safe to say that Lopunny won't be using Quick Attack. This holds true, and Close Combat KOs Lopunny. Flint's next Pokemon is Steelix, without Sturdy, so I keep Infernape in. Flamethrower takes it out. I switch in Frostlass to fight Flint's Drifblim. Drifblim, which apparently doesn't have any attacking moves, is no match for an Ice Beam. Flint's last Pokemon is Infernape, which is holding a Focus Sash. This is where the experiment kicks in. I switch into Purugly, and Fake Out renders the Focus Sash useless. Infernape has the moves Close Combat, Mach Punch, Fire Punch, and Thunder Punch. The first two are fighting type moves. Let's see what happens. I manually switch into Frostlass, and Infernape uses Fire Punch. This, in my eyes, proves my theory that the way the AI reads thick fat is broken. I think that maybe the AI believes that the ability doubles, rather than halves, the amount of damage fire and ice type moves deal. Though that still doesn't explain why Flint's Infernape used Fire Punch instead of Close Combat, since Close Combat would have been stronger. Round 3. This time, I teach Infernape U-turn and have it forget Mach Punch. Each of Flint's first 4 Pokemon fall in the same way that they did last time. Against Flint's Infernape, instead of switching to Purugly, I switch in my own Infernape. One of Flint's Infernape's moves, Close Combat, is significantly stronger against my Infernape than any of its other 3 moves. There's no thick fat anymore to mess with the AI. So, I have my Infernape U-turn out into Frostlass, and as expected, Flint's Infernape uses Close Combat. Frostlass uses Psychic, and Flint is finally down. There's not much to change up before Lucian. I give Infernape the Charcoal, and switch Frostlass, which is still holding the choice specs, to the front of the party. Lucian's first Pokemon is Mr. Mime, which gets KO'd by Shadow Ball. Lucian's Alakazam actually outspeeds every single one of my Pokemon except Infernape, so I'm required to send it out. It gets KO'd by Flamethrower. Girafarig is next, so I keep Infernape in. Close Combat picks up the knockout. Medicham is 4th, and just like Mr. Mime, it falls to a Shadow Ball. Lucian's ace is Bronzong, but it can't take the heat, and I've defeated all 4 Elite Four members. If you're still watching, I hope that means you've enjoyed the video so far. I'd really appreciate it if you could like the video, leave a comment for the algorithm, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm so close to hitting 10,000, and it would mean a lot to me. Before fighting Cynthia, I remove Infernape's Fist Plate and give it the choice specs that Frostlass was holding. I give Frostlass the Icicle Plate and Staraptor the Fist Plate. I teach Haunter Giga Drain and switch Infernape to the front of the party. It's time to find out if the strongest trainer in any Pokemon game can deal a single point of damage to me. Cynthia's first Pokemon is Spiritomb. It gets incinerated by 1 choice specs boosted Flamethrower. Next up is Gastrodon, and since Infernape is locked into Flamethrower, I switch into Haunter. Giga Drain sucks the entirety of Gastrodon's life force. For the record, I knew that Cynthia would switch into Gastrodon and not Melodic because I watched Collector Togami's champion battle, in which they also led with Infernape. Third is Roserade, so I switch to Frostlass. 1 Ice Beam later, Roserade ceases to exist. Next up is Lucario, so I switch into Staraptor. Unlike in Platinum, Lucario doesn't have any priority moves, so I can safely have Staraptor use Close Combat, turning a black and blue face even more black and blue. I send Infernape back out in response to Cynthia's Melodic. Its reputation of being a tank can't save it from 1 Grass Knot. The final opponent is Garchomp, holding a Yachi Berry, which halves the damage of an Ice-type move. I send Frostlass out one final time. Ice Beam forces Garchomp to eat its berry, but it doesn't matter. I'm the champion now. I beat the most difficult mainline Pokemon game without taking any damage. My Pokemon enter the Hall of Fame, and it looks like I finished the game in less than 40 hours of in-game time. Though things got a bit hairy around the end, I'm still really proud of this run. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out some of my other Pokemon challenges. Thanks for watching.